I'm Jane Somerville. I'm a retired professor of cardiology, having been on the staff of the Royal Brompton Hospital and Heart Hospital. I don't practice medicine anymore. I am interested in whistleblowing doctors. I became involved because I went to a conference at the Royal Society of Medicine, which unfortunately they wouldn't repeat, although they promised to do so. I was horrified at what is happening to people in my profession who speak up for the safety of patients. Firstly, they're supposed to speak up for the safety of patients. It's called our duty of candor. And secondly, the treatment by the trusts, mainly managerial, is absolutely appalling. And I decided with my colleague David Ward that we really ought to work and do something. And why should we? Well, because I'm untouchable. They can't take my career from me. They can't prevent me doing anything. They can't do anything. And I'm senior enough in the profession to be able to speak with some authority, at least how medicine works. So I thought, nothing to lose and everything to gain for my profession. David Ward and I are working with Justice for Doctors, and they include us in their meetings. We try not to get involved or allied with them, but we try to, they know we're on their side and we speak out. And by virtue of our seniority, we get to see people, make some sensible suggestions, working with the excellent David Henke, who is writing Westminster Confidential, the actual facts, and he has brought the facts of the most horrible tribunal that's been going on with this Martyn Pitman, a distinguished and useful obstetrician and gynecologist doing good work, and the Royal Hampshire has behaved extraordinarily badly, in my view. The freedom to speak up guardians are usually not strong enough to bang and say to the CEO or the chief executives or the chairman or the board. They're just not strong enough to say this has to stop. So who's to stop the trust managers or the trust managing executives, which could be doctors? Who's to stop them if they want to persecute? It is part of the cover-up culture that unfortunately exists since managers came into the health service. When I grew up, which wasn't yesterday, but also my younger colleagues, we didn't have all this until we had managers. Nobody regulates managers. They can just do what they like. They don't have a general medical council. They don't have anything. They have no code. And lots of them aren't even educated to be a manager. It needs to be properly regulated. They need not to have both the money and the command. And our foolish profession has allowed both. They have control of the money. Thousands of pounds are spent on legal fees of very expensive lawyers, and it's a very unjust set of arms. The litigant or the complaining doctor has almost nothing, unless he happens to be a rich consultant, and the trust has everything, with these managers in control. There's another side to this, which is very, very serious, that I don't want really to touch on, except to tell you, and that is the question of employment tribunals. They managed to get these doctors to employment tribunals, and it's not by chance that the respondents, the trusts, win 97%. That can't be justice, 97%. But I think that the justice system has to look into the trouble of the employment tribunals, but it's very unjust on the doctors and very unfair, ultimately, for the patients. Do I have any knowledge of how widespread it is? Answer, no. Why? Because they don't keep statistics in the Department of Health. We've asked them at quite high level. No idea. Thought it was a rather strange question. So we don't have statistics. Complaints are not registered, and you can't get information. And coupled with that is the improper making of signing NDAs, which they do to the doctors. And of course, they're not allowed to go to the press, they're not allowed to speak to anybody, and bad things happen. Even, I regret to say, suicides. To end, how widespread it is, of course, we don't know. It's more widespread than we think. There are more people who have suffered than we know. They're frightened to come forward. It's a culture of fear in a culture of cover-up. Key number one is stop persecuting doctors who speak up for the safety of patients. All that matters to us is the safety of patients. And so therefore they must be given respect. They may not always be right. They may be saying silly things, or they may be absolutely on the ball, but they must be listened to, and they must not be persecuted by managers. And then next comes, they must be regulated in their behavior. And I am hoping, although it is very serious, that something will come of this corporate manslaughter problem that is going to be brought up. That will concentrate the minds of the managers. They'll be a bit more careful automatically. So stop the persecution should be automatic, ordered by the government, ordered by the Prime Minister, ordered by whoever, but they have to stop it. Secondly, there's the question of the regulation of the funds used to have unequal arms. Very expensive lawyers, leading QCs, cost the earth. So the thing gets more and more, and it shouldn't get to the employment tribunal. That needs looking into, but I don't think that's our business. Maybe employment tribunals do some good, not as far as the doctors are concerned. It's a very, very bad system. So let the judiciary get on and organize their own, as we should organize our own medical aspects and concern ourselves about safety of patients. It really is urgent to do something about this in the health service. It's the sort of thing that is losing doctors. I mean, in training, who wants to go into a health service where the managers can treat you like dirt and do? Safety within the health service, within the doctor's brief, is vital and absolute and primary.